Alright, let me tell you about one of the creepiest and most baffling mysteries I've ever come across. This is the story of the Jamison family, a seemingly normal family whose disappearance in 2009 has left investigators and true crime enthusiasts scratching their heads to this day. If you like this type of content, you can hit the subscribe button down there. Let's begin. Buckle up, because this one is a wild ride. The Jamisons, Bobby, Sherilynn, and their 6-year-old daughter Madyson lived in Eufaula, Oklahoma. It's a quiet, somewhat rural area, the kind of place where neighbors know each other and things generally move at a slower pace. Bobby was a bit of a dreamer. He had big plans for his family. They wanted to live off the grid, away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Sherilynn, on the other hand, was more artsy. She loved painting and had a bit of a free spirit. Madyson? Well, she was just a sweet little girl, full of life and curiosity. From the outside looking in, they seemed like your typical small-town family, but dig a little deeper, and you'll find there was a lot more going on behind the scenes. Bobby had been dealing with chronic back pain after a car accident. This pain was debilitating and left him unable to work, which put a strain on the family's finances. Then there was Sherilynn's mental health. She struggled with bipolar disorder, and while she had moments of clarity and creativity, she also had dark periods where things were really tough for her. Now, here's where it starts to get a little eerie. The Jamisons were known to dabble in some unconventional beliefs. They were reportedly very interested in spirituality and the supernatural. Friends and family said they believed in the existence of spirits and even thought their house might be haunted. Sherilynn's mother later claimed that the family had been involved in some sort of spiritual warfare, and Bobby once asked a pastor if he knew of any special bullets to deal with ghosts. Yeah, you heard that right. Fast forward to October 8th, 2009. The Jamisons packed up their truck and headed out to a remote area in the Sambois Mountains. They were reportedly looking at a 40-acre plot of land they were thinking of buying. Their dream was to live there in a shipping container they already owned and had plans to convert into a home. It was supposed to be a fresh start for them, a way to escape their troubles and live a simpler life. But they never came back. A few days later, hunters stumbled across the Jamisons' pickup truck, abandoned on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. Inside the truck, things were unsettling, to say the least. They found the family's IDs, wallets, and phones, as well as Sherilynn's purse. There was $32,000 in cash stuffed inside a bag, an odd detail that's never really been explained. Even more chilling, their dog Maisie was still in the truck, barely alive and on the verge of starvation. It was clear the family hadn't just wandered off for a quick hike. Investigators scoured the area but found no sign of the Jamisons. The search went on for months, with helicopters, search dogs, and volunteers combing through the rugged terrain. But nothing turned up. It was like they had vanished into thin air. Now, let's talk about the theories, because there are plenty, and each one is stranger than the last. One theory is that the Jamisons fell victim to foul play. Some people think they might have been targeted because of the cash they had with them. Others believe there was some kind of family feud or a deal gone wrong. Bobby had recently sued his father over money, and their relationship was reportedly very strained. Then there's the idea that the family might have gotten lost in the mountains and succumbed to the elements. But here's the thing. They weren't far from their truck, and the area had been searched extensively. It's hard to believe they could have been missed for so long. And of course, there are the more out there theories. Some people believe the Jamisons were involved in some sort of cult activity or ritual. Others think they might have been abducted by aliens or even wandered into another dimension. Yeah, it's that kind of case. For years, the case went cold. That is, until November 2013, when deer hunters stumbled upon skeletal remains in a remote part of the woods. The remains were badly decomposed, but they were eventually identified as Bobby, Sherilynn, and Madyson. They were lying side by side, face down, about 3 miles from where their truck had been found. But even with this discovery, the mystery didn't get any clearer. The medical examiner couldn't determine a cause of death for any of them. There were no signs of trauma, no bullet holes, no stab wounds. It was like they had just died. Some people think they might have succumbed to hypothermia or dehydration, but that doesn't explain why they left their truck in the first place or why they didn't take their belongings with them. To this day, no one knows exactly what happened to the Jamison family. Their disappearance and deaths remain one of the most puzzling and haunting cases in modern history. Were they victims of foul play? Did they get lost and die of exposure? Or was there something more sinister or supernatural at work? Whatever the truth is, it's a story that leaves you with more questions than answers. So, what do you think? Have you heard of this case before? Because every time I think about it, I can't help but wonder what really happened to Bobby, Sherilynn, and little Madyson out there in those lonely mountains.